down the line. So looking at the consultation itself, it's just been published on this Monday, just last Monday. It closes on the 17th of March, which is quite a fast turnaround, a lot faster than many of them have been in the past. You can respond to it via your branch and your CLP. You can't this time respond as an individual member, which we have been able to do in the past. So really you have to table a response with branch and CLP, but you can do both simultaneously. And you should. We're encouraging everyone to do both, so your branch has one response and your CLP has another. There are 6 consultation papers going around, one for each of the commissions, which we'll come on to. But just to say, your branch and your CLP, you don't have to respond to all of the commissions, and you don't have to respond to all of the questions in each of the consultation papers, but you can only submit one response per branch or per CLP to each of the consultation papers. So in other words, each branch and each CLP can submit up to one response to each of the 6 consultations. I hope that's clearer than it sounded in my head, but looking at the National Policy Forum as a whole, so as I say, there are these 6 commissions. The one we're interested in for this purpose is actually a Safe and Secure Communities Commission, and that deals with all sorts of things: crime and policing, justice, regional development. It covers some transport policy. Lots of things are thrown in there, but one of those things is constitutional reform. So for our purposes, we can ignore the other 5 and we just worry about safe and secure communities. This is what the consultation document looks like. It's live on the website and you can have a look at it there. It contains quite a lot of background information. I mean, it's short, but it's got some background information kind of setting up the questions. But the questions themselves are these. If you read them, you'll find they cover a wide range of different areas. And the one, again, that we're interested in is question 5. In what ways can devolution and constitutional reform empower people and bring our communities closer together? And we want to make that our focus, and we can basically hang all of our responses about the need for electoral reform off that. So in terms of how to respond, what you have to do, it's a lot like tabling a motion in terms of the mechanism. So you write to your branch and your CLP secretary. You say which commission's consultation you want to respond to. You know, that's safe and secure communities. You say which question number you want to respond to, and that's question 5. And then you say basically what you think your branch or your CLP's response should say. And we'll get onto that in just a moment. But we're trying to make this as easy for you as possible. So we sent this out by email, but we'll just have a look at it on the website. We've got this action page, which is actually on our homepage right now. It's got a bit of background preamble at the top, and then kind of step-by-step guide of how to respond. But if you look at this red box here, basically within this, there's everything you need as the basis of a email to your secretary. So it says which question you want to respond to, question 5 of which consultation. It says what the deadline is, so just make sure that they're sure it has to happen fairly quickly. And then it says, here's what I'd like to propose we submit as our response. And then we got a bit of standard text which you can edit, basically saying we as a group think that we need to back PR in the policy program. It's then got square brackets where we're encouraging you to add other arguments and other points of your own, and then it's got a bit more standard text at the bottom. And what you can do is you can actually like write in the box, so you can add whatever text you like, and then if you click copy text, it should say that's copied, now paste it into an email and send it to your branch CLP secretaries. If I go to my email, then I can just paste it all in. You might find it easier to paste it in and then edit it in the email here, but either way. And then you just put your secretary's email address in, give it a subject line, and you can send it off once you have added in the arguments you want to add. So let's talk about that. Start from our template and add the details that you want to add. Please bear in mind, firstly, we want to call for PR for general elections. Throughout our campaign, we've really aimed for exactly what we want, basically. We haven't sort of gone in with a compromise ask, and I think now is definitely not a time to do that either. So please be clear and proud of what you're asking for, proportional system for general elections. It's really going to be useful if we can explain the impact first past the post actually has on voters in our area, so affecting your branch and your CLP. Things like, are you in a seat that's been neglected or taken for granted, either a safe Tory seat that's been safe Tory forever, or maybe a seat that has been kind of taken for granted until recently, maybe in the red wall somewhere, and it's more recently become marginal. Say what your situation is and what effect it has on people in your area. Do people feel ignored and disempowered because their votes don't really count? Are there hardly any Labour MPs in your region to represent its Labour voters? So if you're in the southeast or the southwest, east of England, you probably don't have very many Labour MPs close to you, even though lots and lots of people actually vote Labour in those regions. What effect does that have? And finally, does your region or the nation vote Labour but keep getting unrepresented Tory governments? So anyone in London or Wales or the Northwest, probably most people vote Labour, but we keep getting Tory governments, and that's despite the Tories never getting majority, certainly not in your region, but even in the UK as a whole, or even in England as a whole. Just really unrepresentative results. And what effect does that have over time? You can also, by the way, you don't have to make all of these points, just make one or two really strong ones, and you can use these as inspiration. But you can also reinforce the points that Keir Starmer has been making about democratic reform and link these to PR in particular. So these are all direct quotes from his New Year's speech, or maybe one from the Brown Commission launch in December. So you cannot overstate how much a short-term mindset governs Westminster. I call it sticking plaster politics. We need both a new government and a new way of governing, which we all know is not going to happen if we don't have electoral reform. The Westminster system is part of the problem. As a system, it doesn't work. And we need to trust people and communities with the power to control their destiny. And we can be making the case that he's obviously right, but part of that is trusting people with votes that count wherever they happen to live. Final thoughts on this. Strategic arguments for proportional representation, or just wider arguments really that you might want to make. We need multiple terms of Labour government. It's not going to be, there's such a mess in the country that we've got to probably have several terms to get things back to where they need to be, and PR is really a way of baking that in. It's also a way of preventing Labour gains from being unravelled as soon as we get as soon as we're out of office in the future, as we've often seen in the past. I think we can again pick up the point that it's Labour that has to champion democracy and defend it from the Tory attacks, which are we're seeing a lot of recently and in the last couple of years. And we can talk about what I think everyone probably knows well, the academic research, that PR just leads to better, more equal societies in general. And maybe Rob will be able to tell us about this a little bit later on. Polling does show there's a majority of the public in favour, and importantly, very few people are actually strongly opposed. So final thoughts on the whole response to the consultation. Make arguments that matter locally to you. It's really going to help us if people have customized their responses and particularly included their local circumstances. I think that's the kind of thing that the NPF reps are really going to listen to. Try not to conflate PR with other issues or campaigns. We've been doing this since day one, avoiding PR being conflated with Progressive Alliance or pro Europe or any other issue. You know, if you want to submit on other issues, feel free to, but keep them separate from PR. Something is better than nothing. If you really have no time, then do just submit the template response to your branch. It is better that you put on records that your branch or CLP wants PR than, you know, do nothing. You don't have to write a huge amount. Customize if you can, but if not, something's better than nothing. And then once you've tabled a response, you'll have to attend the meeting and speak in favor. It's a lot like a motion. Hopefully have some experience of that. We can also provide speakers to come along and talk through the issues. And keep in touch and let us know how it goes. We're going to be trying to chase up with everyone to find out how it went in their branch and CLP. Do feel free to just drop us an email. We'll always be interested.